it. So I'm going to go ahead and own up to something that we screwed up, and I'm just going to tell a real short story and just keep it to the facts. Last year we had our Jimmy Lunsford campaign. It was awesome. A bunch of people poured in $20,000 to make Jimmy Lunsford a thing again. It was beautiful. Loved every second of it, except for this one thing, which is that we chose a song that is called High Spook. And it turns out that that is a derogatory term. It is a historically, racially charged term. I didn't know at the time, but it is. And we felt super, super bad about that and dumb about it. And we know that it hurts some people. And, well, I'll just go ahead and do this part on behalf of myself and Jaya and the band and Lenny Focus. I apologize. That was not a great thing to have happened. So I think what's important is not that you never make a mistake, but ideally that you do something with that, that you move forward, you learn something. So that's what we're going to try and do. Luckily, I've got a good buddy here, Javi, that's just going to give a little context about that term, and maybe we'll all learn a little something and screw up a little less in the future. All right, here goes.
So, a little bit of context. We're going to take this as a learning opportunity, as Michael said. The term spook comes from a Dutch word, usually meaning ghost. That's kind of what we usually use the term as. And it was that way for a very, very long time. Somewhere around the early 40s, it began to be a term used to describe people of color. And the references that are cited meaning Spookwaffe. It referred to the Tuskegee Airmen. Waffe meaning gun from German, and Luftwaffe being the German Air Force. They derogatorily called the Tuskegee Airmen, the Black Army Air Corps, the Spookwaffe. And so from then on, it became a term used to refer to people. Sometime in its history, it began to change. Words change over time, their meanings change over time. So much other words in the English language, black people, people of color, started to own that word and tried to take it back. So it became a term of endearment later in the war. We don't know where in the process the song was created relative to the history of the language, but it does have a little bit of nuance there, and so it could have been at some point in time that the word was being taken back, or it could have been just a term that casual racism as it existed back then just allowed that song title to be what it is. Don't know the answer. I'm not an expert from then, but we want to acknowledge its history. Let it lead to discussion amongst yourselves, amongst people. Good references for things of this would be NPR's Code Switch. It's a podcast that they go through and they talk about language, they talk about history, they talk about race relations, and so I would recommend going there and other resources. Thank you.